here. Let's have some breakfast. Look, I know I disappeared for a little bit, but I got really sick at the end of the year and in early January, and I just, doing anything just wasn't available to me in that moment. Yes, it is 8 in the morning, and yes, it is already noisy. What did happen was, before I got really sick, I kind of overstepped myself. And what I mean by that is that, remember when I said that I was going to do one thing at a time, that I wasn't going to be making a lot of zines and stuff? I kind of already did 2 zines. They were super simple, super chill, but I just felt this urge of creating something, and I just had all the things that I needed to do that, because it was actually more like I started writing. I wrote these pieces, and I just felt like, what if I turned them into something? So I did. If you follow me on Instagram, you probably saw me doing the first one. It was just a page folded. It was very simple. I just wanted to try out, just how do I combine my writing with visuals. I keep trying to record this clip, but for some reason, this microphone, it's great, but every time that I try to record something with my phone, some videos, it picks up the audio, others don't, and I have no idea why. First of all, please ignore the creepy dolls. It's not about them. I have not been feeling 100% myself lately, gotta be honest. I've been having a lot of doubts and questions about the paths that I'm choosing. I feel like this is not unique to me. This is a very creative person conundrum. Just this feeling of not being fully committed to the things that truly speak to my heart, but at the same time having to negotiate with reality, so I can have a life and exist in the physical plane that we exist in, and not, die of not having food. So it's just this feeling of like, I have so much in my head, but reality is not open to that. Reality makes me hold myself back, because reality scares me sometimes. And this leads me to not be fully who I wish to be. And that leads to not as good creative things. So this is not a feeling unique to me at all. I feel like this is very common for creative people in general, regardless of what you create. I think that's a very universal feeling. And I wrote that feeling down in my notebook a couple days ago. I was feeling very sorry for myself, a pity party. And I just kind of forgot about it. I just got the feeling out, and I was like, okay, I should move on from this. But then this morning, I woke up and I just had this overwhelming feeling that I wanted to create something. And I thought, I have that little writing. It's not long, it's half a page. And I want that thing to have a face. That's the word I used, to have a face. It's like, there's the zine thing that I'm doing. And it just made sense. But then I thought, if I do this now, it kind of defeats the whole purpose of doing this of doing this whole series about doing my first zine at all, because then I will have made a zine before this. And then I just fought a little bit harder, and I was just like, who cares, right? Who cares? No one. The whole point of making this series was to allow me to be more open, be more creative, don't hold myself back as much because it's not following this plan that I feel like I should follow because that's what people do. So I was like, fuck that. I'm just gonna do this thing because it feels right. So I decided to make like a 1-page folded zine. I think that that's good. It's a small writing, like text. The thing is not that big. I don't have any of my supplies. I don't have like my colorful pens and markers or my or stickers or anything like that. I'm not at home. So I do have my computer though, so that's what we're going to use to try and create this, and then I'm going to try and print it out, and I will show you the results. Hopefully it's not too bad. I am back, and still no microphone. I'm too lazy to pick it up now, but it is done. It looks so cute. My folding is not the best, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if you can see, but there's a little bit of a, like the purple kind of bled a little bit to the back. But hey, my first time. But yeah, it looks super cool. Let me open this for you guys. I am obsessed. I am afraid I am obsessed. Yeah, now I'm gonna go disturb Luan about it, and I guess I am your problem from now on. And the second one, I didn't film anything. But it was mostly just at the like early January when I was really sick and I was just kind of laying in bed, and I just really felt like it was you know, at the end of me being really unwell, and I just felt like I needed to get something out. Then I wrote this. Guys, there's like this really loud noise happening somewhere in the neighborhood, and it's driving me crazy. I apologize. But regardless of the fact that I kind of did something I said I wasn't going to do, I'm actually glad that I did it, because even though these were very simple projects, they already taught me some really important things that I want to be paying attention when I'm going to make my official project. And speaking of my official project, the last we talked about it, the thing I decided on doing was to interview Brazilian thriller writer Iza Artagão. Sorry, I had to go close the windows and the doors because it was so loud. I couldn't think to talk to you guys. Anyway, if you don't know Iza, she is a Brazilian writer. She writes thrillers, horrors, and crime novels. And she has 3 novels out and a bunch of other short stories. And she also just recently won, you know, Best Horror Novel at the Odisseia Literária Award, which is just like, you know, one of the biggest literary, like, fiction genre awards in Brazil. So just, I know Iza, it's a wonderful person, and she's participated in a meeting at the book club that I am a part of, and she was wonderful. She was kind, and she answered all of our questions. But also, this book club that I'm a part of has a much more weight to their name than I do. Like, who am I? No one. So I didn't know if she was going to say yes to this project, because this is very new, very recent, and she had no idea how this was going to work, right? So I was really anxious going to talk to her, like to see if she would even consider the idea of having me interviewing her. But I talked to Camila, who runs the book club that I participate in, and she was like, no, go for it. I think she's going to say yes. And I was like, I'm not sure. But she was like, girl, just do it. So I slid into Iza's DMs, and she said yes. So at that point, I was both elated and terrified because I had never interviewed anyone, not like for real. So I was like, what the hell am I supposed to do? How do you interview someone? How do you like create questions? So I talked to some of my journalist friends. They gave me some, tips, some ideas. And I also did a lot of Googling. Like, how do you interview someone? And I researched Iza a lot, all of her history, everything that I could find on her. I watched other interviews with her, and I created like this sheet of questions that I wanted to ask her. And then we scheduled our call, and it was really fun. It was super chill. Iza was wonderful. She was welcoming, and we ended up talking for like a whole hour nonstop. And I actually have the audio for this, but it's not the best audio. Like, it wasn't properly recorded, but and it's in Portuguese. But would you guys be interested in something like this? Hearing the conversation. But yeah, like, I was over the moon, and I was like ready to start transcribing this super fun interview that we just had. And then I got really sick. It was only like at the same time that I was doing the other zine that I started to feel a little bit better, that I started to transcribe the interview. So that has been like maybe a week and a half ago. And I will admit, I used AI for this. I actually used 2 different AIs for this, and I still had to do some correcting, revising, reviewing of the text that it gave me. Like, I would listen to the audio interview and then check what the AI gave me, just because I don't know if you guys ever had to transcribe something. It's absolutely painstaking, and I just wouldn't have the time or the energy to do that on my own. So I used AI for this. I don't usually like using AI for anything else, but for this account, I had to admit it was necessary. At last, we have an interview. We have an interview with a real published author. Could you believe it? I think it's a really cool interview. I feel like the questions that I brought were really good at prompting Iza on talking about really interesting topics, and also some questions just kind of came up They just kind of arose out of our 1 hour conversation. So I feel like we have a really cool material for the zine. So now we have our editorial line, we have our content, the writing, the actual information that it's on the zine. And now what we need is, to create the actual zine, like the visual aspect of it, the design, the visual storytelling. And I have so many ideas, I have so many references that I've been kind of collecting in the past few months of like zines and posters and magazines that I find cool, or even like book covers. And I'm really, I want to see how the hell am I going to coalesce all of these ideas in one. I have no idea. We just have to wait and see. So I will see you on the next video of the series. And I would like to know, what would you think of, like, what would you think would be a good idea for a visual narrative for the zine? Let me know in the comments. Maybe you can help me out. Bye.